Hey, how you doing, everybody? Milsurp Garage here. Here's what I got for you today. A while ago, last year, I posted a video on this 1943 K98K, which was a Yugo Capture. You can see here the Yugoslavian crest on there, and it's pretty well scrubbed. The Yugoslavian factory right there listed. And I was always sure that this was just going to be my K98K. I did pay a little bit less for it than you would pay for, like, let's say, an authentic German marked one or a non-scrubbed one. But it's basically the same rifle. I mean, the Yugoslavians took care of them pretty good after they got their hands on them. However that happened, whether it was during the war, post-war, however it was, they definitely treated these things nice. In my opinion, better than the Russian captures that I've seen. And like I said, I always thought this was just going to be my K98K, since it was an authentic German one. It wasn't one of the ones that the Yugoslavians made, which are good in their own right. But not that long after, I walked into a gun store and came across this guy, and I just had to have him. This guy is a 1936 S42 marked, so it is a let's see, I have it written down. Mauser Oberndorf was the factory. Back then, the Germans would use these codes, I guess, and probably makes a little bit of sense that if enough of these were picked up on the battlefield, and they actually said, Oberndorf on it or whatever, you'd probably know where to send your next bombing mission. Not that that information wouldn't already be readily available where they were making their guns, or who knows. But that seems to be the logic in using these codes. But what really surprised me was I had heard that there were a lot of serial numbers all over these things, but man, the Yugos must have had some job scrubbing these things, because there's literally numbers all over the place, even on the individual screws that you see here. There's serial numbers on them, and you see, like, up over here, the eagle swastika stamp. There's one over there, and there's also a couple over here. I know these things are readily faked. I mean, they sell these stamps that you can do that with, but just by the way these look, they're just enough into the stock to look old enough. I mean, I don't care if some imbecile decided to put some stamps in it that weren't necessarily real. It's still a real. It's a non-import marked 1936 K98K with or without those marks, and that means that the stock is a walnut stock, not a I'm sorry, what are these called again? Not a laminate stock like on the Yugo Capture that I have. So I just thought it was an interesting addition, and the guy that sold it to me didn't really kill me on it, so I figured I'd pick it up. I thought you guys would like to see it. There was only one issue with getting this. Oh, and one cool thing. This original Mauser sling was on my Yugo Capture, and I remember when I bought it, some guy over my shoulder was like, yo, that's an original sling that's on there. That sling's probably worth as much as the rifle, So I always took pretty good care of this sling, but what was interesting was that when I bought this one, the authentic K98K, the non-Yugo one, it had this sling on it, and this sling turned out to be a Yugo sling, so it worked out perfectly. I swapped the Yugo sling over to the Yugo, who probably really enjoyed that happening, since it's a Yugo, and was able to put my original sling on this guy. So that worked out pretty cool. But one thing that I knew I was going to have to do, I had this bayonet and frog, bayonet, scabbard, and frog, which is a Yugo bayonet. These are alright. They're not crazy expensive. I was actually even able to find a numbers matching one, not to the rifle, but to the scabbard. The scabbard and the bayonet match on this Yugo one, and the frog is generally cheap. So in a way, I was kind of lucky that I had the Yugo one. So I said, well, hey, I don't have to go out and find myself one of these authentic German ones, because it's not even an authentic German rifle. The Yugo bayonet, you know, fits it much better. But of course, now that I got one of these German ones, I had to go out and I had to find one of these guys. And this was not so much an expense, but just a pain in the ass to find one in the condition that I wanted. I wanted an original Frog, and I wanted one in nice shape, and I got this guy. This is a beautiful one. I think what's the date on it? 1938. So for a 36 rifle and a 38 bayonet, I thought that was pretty cool. Here, I'll show you what it looks like mounted. And the Germans were, the Germans were, it's kind of interesting that they didn't use a barrel ring, or a muzzle ring, I should say. I like to call that a muzzle ring because they don't always go over the barrel. But yeah, that's a nice, definitely a nice setup. Yep. So, but then again, like I said, it was more of a pain in the neck finding the one that I wanted in the right condition. Once I found it, I was at a gun show, and whatever the guy was asking for it, like $175 or something like that. I was like, yeah, it's in decent shape. I don't know if it's worth $175, and it probably isn't. But I told him all I had was $100, and I wasn't going to pay any more than that. And he didn't go for it at first, but I walked around for about an hour, and he wound up catching up with me with it in his hand, and he was like, all right, I'll take the 100. I guess it was getting late in the day, and it didn't look like it was going to sell. Also, you can get these really cool muzzle covers. They have a flip-up front on it, I guess, so you can get the cleaning rod in even with it on. What's interesting is I bought this, I thought it was just going to go in and turn, and it didn't seem to, get the right angle here, it didn't seem to want to turn and go on, and I thought it was something that I was doing. What I didn't realize was that these things are like spring-loaded. So if you ever buy one of these things, or anybody that has one and thinks it doesn't fit, it's spring-loaded. You actually got to, it would be a good idea to just put a little oil in there or a little grease on the tip too, so you don't scratch the crown. But it actually pushes in and then turns around and covers the sight, to protect the sight and the muzzle. Like I said, it's got this cool flip-up cover. So that's pretty cool. Can't use that on the older ones that have the sight hood. Obviously, the older ones have a sight hood that, I guess, protects the sight right there, so you don't have to really necessarily worry about it. And I guess where we're storing these things and what we're doing with them, we don't really have to worry about muzzle covers too much. I think that was more like a, you know, trudging through the crap kind of worry than, you know, is there going to be a spider in my closet that climbs in there? So that's that. So now there's two. These things are amazing. They really are. If you don't have one of these in your collection, I highly recommend them. They have a beautiful action, a beautiful smooth action to them. They're great shooters. These are both incredibly accurate, beautiful shooters. And check Widener's for ammo for these things. The M75 sniper ammo, the Yugo sniper ammo that they list under the 8mm Mauser tab is excellent stuff. It might seem a little pricey for corrosive Burdan prime stuff that you're not going to be able to reload, and that's corrosive, but I don't worry so much. I mean, these are bolt action. You know, it's not like it's clogging up a gas system with corrosive stuff, and I clean them. I get home and I happies the crap out of them, and I don't see any corrosion. You know what I mean? So a lot of people, they just shy away from the corrosive stuff for you know, what they would consider these collectible you know, older rifles, but you're not going to have an issue. That stuff is awesome. See if I can just whip out a box of it here. Yeah, I got a box of it right here. This is how it comes. Comes in boxes like this of, I guess, what are there, 15 in here? And I got a video on this stuff if you want to take a look, but this is it. It's good stuff. It's definitely, it's highly consistent and accurate ammunition, and I recommend it. It's actually, at this point, all I put through my 8mm, and I love it. And so that's it. That's the authentic German K98K, non-import mark, 1936. 1936 too, for a German rifle like this, it's a very pivotal time. It's right when Germany first started making its moves. You know what I mean? Like, this rifle was produced right around when Germany took its first step, which I think was move it into the Sudetenland, is it called? I think that was in 1936. So there's a chance that this rifle saw every and all of what World War II fighting had to offer for the Germans. You know, it's got its dings and bangs, but it's in fairly decent shape. And the only non-numbers matching part of it is the bolt, which is very common. It's very common that when these things were re-arsenaled, that they would pull the bolt out and chuck those in one pile, and the rest of the rifle went in another pile. So all the numbers all over it match except the bolt, but the bolt numbers all match. There's like got to be 6 serial numbers just on the bolt alone. Even the extractor has a bolt number, and they all match. The cocking piece, the safety, the bolt handle, the extractor, they all match, and the rest of the rifle all matches. So it's you could basically consider it an all-matching rifle, because the only reason the bolt doesn't match is because of a German re-arsenal. You know what I mean? And this thing's all full of marks and Waffenants and things to check out with a magnifying glass and document. So pretty interesting piece of history and an awesome shooting rifle. So that's that. You guys take care.